There is a kind of exhaustion that rest does not fix. It comes from thinking too much, feeling too deeply, and trying to function in a world that never slows down. For years, I thought this was weakness. Today, I know it was something else. This channel is about understanding that difference. Some people move through the world as if it was designed for them. They speak in groups naturally. They answer phone calls without preparing. They seem to know how to act, what to say, and when to say it. For them, many social situations feel automatic. For other people, the same world feels very different, not worse, not better, just heavier. Everyday situations require effort, attention, energy. This channel exists to talk about these experiences, not to complain, not to judge, not to label anyone, but to understand. Because when something is not understood, it is often judged unfairly. If you have ever felt tired just trying to exist in the world, this space was created for you. My name is Paulo. I am Brazilian. I am 42 years old. For most of my life, I have lived with a strong feeling of inadequacy. I want to explain why this channel is in English. The first reason is emotional safety. Speaking in another language creates distance, and distance allows honesty. It helps me talk about difficult experiences without the weight of old expectations, labels, or people who already know me. English gives me a space where I can speak freely. Pause. The second reason is that what I talk about here is not limited to one country or culture. Anxiety, depression, social phobia, and autism exist everywhere. Using English allows this conversation to reach people from different places who might feel the same way. Before we go further, I need to be very clear. I am not a mental health professional. I am not a psychologist. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a therapist. This channel does not offer medical advice, and it is not a replacement for therapy or professional support. Everything I share here comes from personal experience, years of therapy, reading, and reflection. If you are struggling deeply, seeking professional help is important and necessary. When I look back at my life, the word that comes to mind most often is inadequacy. Not because something dramatic was happening all the time. Not because my life was constantly painful. But because there was a quiet feeling that followed me almost everywhere. A subtle sense of not quite fitting. Of being slightly out of place, even when nothing obvious was wrong. This feeling didn't arrive suddenly. It didn't come from one single event. It was built slowly, over time. As a child, you don't have words for what you feel. You don't think in concepts like identity, self-esteem, or social belonging. You just notice sensations. You notice that certain situations feel heavier for you than for others. That some looks last a little too long. That certain comments stay with you longer than they seem to stay with everyone else. For me, that feeling started very early. Physically, I was different. I had a visible nervous tic. I was also cross-eyed. In the 1980s, differences like these were rarely handled with care or sensitivity. They were noticed, commented on, sometimes laughed at. Over time, those reactions teach a child something very specific. Not in words, but in feeling. They teach caution. They teach vigilance. They teach the body to be alert. Little by little, I learned to take up less space, to speak less, to observe more. This didn't create deep loneliness, but it created distance. And when distance becomes familiar, it quietly shapes how you see yourself. What helped me was my inner world. And I want to pause here for a moment, because many people have something similar, even if they don't talk about it. An inner place where things make more sense, where the pace is slower, where you don't feel watched or evaluated. From a very young age, imagination became that place for me. I created stories, characters, alternate versions of myself. In those inner landscapes, I felt capable, I felt confident, I felt accepted. This kind of inner world is not uncommon, especially among sensitive people. It's not about escaping reality. It's about regulating emotion. When the outside world feels confusing, loud, or unpredictable, the inner world offers structure, control, and safety. It's a way to breathe. At school, I spent many years mostly alone. During breaks, I often sat quietly watching other kids play soccer. Not because I didn't want to join, but because I didn't always know how. Sometimes I tried. Sometimes I hesitated too long. There were moments when comments about my appearance hurt deeply. Moments when jokes crossed the line. And sometimes, when that line was crossed, I reacted with anger. Not because I wanted conflict, but because I didn't yet know how to protect myself with words. Academically, school was never the main issue. I studied, I learned, I performed well. The difficulty was always social. Group work, unwritten rules, knowing when to speak, knowing when to stop. Those things felt invisible to others, but exhausting to navigate. As I grew older, something shifted. Self-awareness increased. Comparison began. Suddenly, it wasn't just about feeling different. It was about judging that difference. I started to look at myself through a much harsher lens. My appearance felt wrong. My presence felt inadequate. This phase is common for many people. But for some, the feeling doesn't pass quickly. It stays. It settles deeper. Around that time, I started therapy. I changed psychologists a few times, and in many sessions, I barely spoke. Not because I didn't want help, but because I didn't know how to translate my inner world. I felt embarrassed by it. Inside my imagination, I was someone else, someone admired, someone successful, someone loved. Saying that out loud felt risky, childish. So I stayed quiet. During adolescence, the desire to belong becomes stronger. Friend groups, parties, romantic interest. These things start to feel like proof of value. I wanted connection deeply, but my body didn't cooperate. In social situations, especially romantic ones, my body froze. My heart raced. My mind went blank. Watching others experience relationships while I felt unable to even try deepened the sense of inadequacy. For a long time, I truly believed that I would never be chosen. Not because I didn't want love, but because I felt incapable of being someone's choice. Adult life arrived, and slowly, I found small places where I could exist. I had relationships. I experienced love. But even then, there was often a quiet fear underneath. A feeling of not fully deserving what I had, as if it could be taken away at any moment. My first major heartbreak reinforced that belief, not just because of the loss, but because it touched something deeper. The idea that I might not be capable of being loved again. Life, however, continued. I got married. Later I divorced. Around that time, anxiety and depression became more visible. At first, I didn't fully understand what was happening. I received diagnoses. They helped to some extent. They explained parts of my experience, but not all of it. Even in my 30s, my inner world remained very active. Imagining situations, replaying conversations, creating safer versions of reality. For many people, this is a way of self-soothing, a way to regain a sense of control when life feels uncertain. Alcohol entered my life during this period. It was socially accepted. It reduced anxiety. It made social spaces feel easier. It helped quiet my mind. Over time, this became a problem, and I will talk more about that in other videos. What matters here is understanding its role. It wasn't about lack of character. It was about regulation, an attempt to manage emotions that felt overwhelming. Today, my life looks very different from what I once imagined. I am in a long-term relationship. I have a 2-year-old daughter. Things I once believed were impossible. I love my family deeply, but love doesn't always express itself in obvious or expected ways. Sometimes, the way I show care is misunderstood. That creates pressure. And once again, the old feeling of inadequacy can appear, especially in professional life. The modern world demands visibility, performance, and constant interaction. For someone with social anxiety, this can be exhausting. I start projects with hope. Some of them don't work. Anxiety rises. Self-criticism follows. Financial difficulties become very real. And with them, shame and fear. The difference today is not that everything is resolved. The difference is awareness. I understand myself better. I am in more effective treatment. And I decided to speak. Not to explain everything. Not to label myself. But to share a lived experience. In the hope that someone listening might feel a little less alone. I don't have final answers. But I believe understanding changes everything. When we understand our inner experience, we stop seeing ourselves as broken, and we start seeing ourselves as human. If any part of this story feels familiar to you, you are not alone. We can walk through this together, slowly, with kindness, and with hope. Before we finish, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for staying. Thank you for listening. And thank you for sharing this time with me. If any part of this video connected with you, even in a small way, consider leaving a like. It helps this space reach people who might need it. If this channel feels safe to you, you are welcome to subscribe and walk with us over time. And if you know someone who might feel understood by this video, consider sharing it with them. Sometimes, feeling seen can make a real difference. I would also love to hear from you. You can leave a comment, sharing what resonated with you, or suggesting topics you'd like us to explore. In this safe space, we're building this together, slowly, with respect, and with care. Thank you for being here.
I don't have answers, I just have time, moving slowly, trying to be kind. Some days feel heavy, some pass like air. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm still here. I walk in circles, I stop, I breathe. I learn to stay where my feet can be. No need to hurry, no need to prove, just staying close to what feels true. I don't have answers, and that's okay. I'm learning how to stay.